Are you looking for a student orthopedic, king, queen size, double and single mattress or pillows to buy? Then look no further because Latest Foam is offering 10% discount on all products at Latest Foam showrooms. The general public is encouraged to take advantage of this Christmas offer. Latest Foam is your partner for life, but please be careful with persons on social media who are posing to work for Latest Foam and duping the unsuspecting public. Latest Foam does not do delivery to individuals, so please ignore any request on social media that you send money and items will be delivered to you. Deal with Latest Foam at our showroom and authorized agents and ignore the criminals on social media.
And thousands of people are already preparing to make this Christmas the biggest with help from Societe Generale Ghana. The bank is giving all USG Ghana Visa card holders cashback when you spend 300 Ghana cedis or more anytime you shop. No gimmicks, no hidden tricks, just make POS and or online payments with your SG Ghana Visa card. And voila, you get cashback sharp. Move fast, look sharp. Start shopping today. If you're not a customer, sign up now and get a card. For more information, call Societe Generale on 0302 214 314. And this promotion ends on the 31st of January 2022. And remember, with Societe Generale Ghana, the future is you. Terms and conditions apply.
Now, do you know that electrical cables constitute less than 3% of your building project budget, but can render all your building projects to ashes due to electrical fires? Just give it a thought. That electrical cables constitute less than 3% of your building project budget, but can actually cause your building to burn to ashes.
Just like that.
Do you know that Tropical Cables is the only Ghanaian cable manufacturing company that produces flame retardant low smoke cables, that's FRLS, that offers protection against electrical fires? Well, I'm telling you, Tropical Cable is an ISO 9001 2015 certified company, 9001 2015 certified company with decades of cable manufacturing experience and produces the best quality cables, including building wires, underground cables, overhead line conductors, communication cables, solar cables, and all kinds of cables in all of Africa. Our cables have been approved by the Ghana Standards Authority and comes highly recommended by the Energy Commission of Ghana and all our public utility services like ECG, NEDCO, VRA, just to name a few. Win amazing prizes and gifts by visiting any of our sales outlets across the country to get your FRLS. That's the flame retardant low smoke cables. Now, call 0268769840 or visit tropicalcables.com for further details. Tropical Cable to Papa Preko. Oh, ta. No, what to Papa Preko. Anyway, let me just start the conversation. We've been talking about COVID-19. Now we have the Omicron variant, and there's been lots of advice on what to do this Christmas. But as we get very close to Christmas, as we have all these events lined up, and with Omicron facing it, what should we do? Should we be concerned about these events? Should we be thinking, based on the signs, of maybe holding on or maybe resorting to just outdoor events? That's the conversation we're having this morning here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Our reason is very simple. We want to ensure that by end of the year and when we start 2022, you are healthy and you are able to contribute to the development of Mother Ghana. This morning we've been joined by a research fellow at the West Africa Cell Center for Infectious Pathogens, WACBIP. That's Dr. Yao Bediakon. We're also expecting to be joined by Kwame Sapon Asiedu, who is a pharmacist and CDD fellow based in the UK. And we'd also be joined by Dr. Patrick Aboagye, who is Director General of the Ghana Health Service. But let me say good morning to you, Dr. Yao Bediakon.
Good morning, Winston.
And I hope you're doing very well this morning.
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. So we're looking at Omicron variant. Now, first of all, people have asked the question, we have seen COVID-19. We have seen the Delta variant. How different is Omicron that should get all of us worried and concerned this Christmas?
Well, as everybody has been saying, Omicron is
sort of the latest variant of SARS-CoV-2 that has emerged. It is proving to be highly transmissible. It is the most transmissible variant we've seen. So if people would think back, we had the original strain from Wuhan that emerged, and then we had, alpha and beta variants. Then we all talked about Delta, which fueled our last wave. Omicron is considerably more transmissible than Delta. In fact, Omicron appears to be to be so transmissible that I actually saw a report today that they're saying it is actually as transmissible or more transmissible than measles. And measles for a long time has been sort of one of the leading or the most contagious viruses that we have. So Omicron is a very transmissible, very contagious variant of SARS-CoV-2 that has also been shown to, in some ways, have some ability to evade our immune defenses. So in tests that have been done, even the Pfizer vaccine, which is the sort of the most, you could think of it perhaps as the most efficacious, or at least has shown the highest levels of efficacy, there were certain people who were vaccinated with Pfizer who still were able to be infected by Omicron. Now, the vaccine still has pretty good efficacy, even against Omicron, especially if somebody has received a booster. So in the US now and in Europe, they are advocating for a third vaccination, a third shot, to boost your immunity to be able to take care of Omicron. But that just shows the potential problem that Omicron presents. It spreads very, very rapidly. It appears to have some ability to evade immunity, and so means that we have to boost the vaccine-induced immunity that we already have. Thankfully, for now, in many places, the cases appear or have appeared to be relatively mild. But of course, the challenge that COVID has always presented is that if you have so many cases and so many people requiring some form of hospital care, then you get worried about overwhelming the health system. So even if the variant itself causes relatively milder disease than Delta or Beta variants, the fact that it can infect so many more people means that you risk filling up your hospitals and overwhelming your health system, and then other services begin to suffer. So that is what Omicron presents. It is the most transmissible variant that we have seen, and it appears to be spreading at an alarming rate. This morning, I just saw that now 73% of all cases in the US are Omicron. Last week, it was less than 3%. So that just shows you how quickly it's spreading.
Okay, all right. Let me just say that Kwame Sapon-Asiedu has also joined us, and Dr. Patrick Aboagye, who is the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, has also joined us. Dr. Aboagye, good morning, and good morning to you also, Kwame Sapon-Asiedu.
Good morning.
Good morning to everybody. Good morning to Dr. Aboagye and Bediako.
Great. Before I get to Dr. Aboagye, let me get to you, Kwame. I mean, Dr. Bediako has made the point that the symptoms are mild compared to the Delta variant, and so people have raised the question: well, if the symptoms are mild, it means I can actually deal with it. So, why should that be enough of a concern for me?
You see, there are two things that are concerned here. If you listened to Dr. Bediako clearly, he was talking about the aggregated sum. So now we're looking at a reproductive number that is higher or similar to measles. That is key. So you are talking of double digits. We are talking about 10, 11, meaning that if the condition is not controlled and if remedial action is not put in place, one person can potentially infect up to 12 people, which, if you look at the initial data from the strain that came out originally, was what we would call a super spreader event. But now it's no longer a super spreader event. It is actually the normal spread exponential potential of this new variant, which then means that if 1 in 3 of those people are going to need some form of remedial treatment, you are talking of, let's say, for every exponent, 3 people rather than 1. Then you need to draw yourself back to what happened to us last January, when, a variant with a reproductive number of around 4 to 6 came into the country and how our health system struggled. I mean, Dr. Aboagye has the data, and all three of us have it actually. If you look at it, you'd realize that in that January to February, we lost about 339 people. And before the 31st of December, we had lost only 331. That tells you what happens when a reproductive number changes. And it happens because even though some people might have milder disease, and that's what viruses do, because they also learn, they begin to realize it's not in our interest to just kill everybody off, because then we die off as well. So we mutate sometimes to become less dangerous, but to live longer. It is about survival of the fittest. But in doing so, because so many people get infected, and because some health systems have so few centers to manage the cases like Ghana has, as you go into the hinterlands, you don't have as many technical places as you would have in Accra, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and the likes. Therefore, the people who get into hospital would constrain the health system. Then, if you look at the cost of management, it's going to put pressure on the economy as well, because the larger the number of people who go in, the larger the cost per head of the people. So if you're using, let's say, 100 Ghana cedis to treat each COVID patient, I'm just using it because it's way, way larger, and you have 300 in hospital, that is 300 times 100. But the minute you get 3,000, you are getting 3,000 times 100, which is a different ball game for our economy than what we had last December. And for me, that is what concerns me. So when people talk about, oh, it's milder, I look at the public health economics aspect of it. I look at the data aspects of it. But more importantly, I also look at the naivety of our population. We are talking about it being mild in populations that, one, are highly vaccinated, two, have had higher exposure to the virus that we had in the first 3 waves, and three, have a higher, median age than we have. Our population may not be 4-time lucky. And so we don't need to play Russian roulette when all these variables are unknown. And that, for me, is how I'll end it.
Yes, but so talking about, let me just get this clarification. When you say we're talking about the symptoms being milder, and we're being naive because we're comparing ourselves to, populations that have been, a lot of them have been vaccinated, have been exposed to it more than we have. Help me understand, are you suggesting that in our case, the symptoms may not be as mild as we're seeing elsewhere?
Yes, because the data is evolving. If you look at the data coming out of Israel, and I was listening to you, if you look at the data coming out of Israel, they've been so concerned now that they are even giving a 4th booster dose, because the titers for the 3rd booster dose shows a different antibody buildup, which seems to combat Omicron better. So Israel are going forward because they are awash with vaccines and say we are going to give a 4. And so these populations who were very, very exposed have different dynamics than we do. Africa historically has said that we have, for some reason that science hasn't been able to elucidate yet, we have had a milder brand of all the variants that have come in. Is this going to be our Waterloo variant? We don't know. You only need to go back to the Spanish flu of the 18s to realize that the first 2 waves spared a lot of countries and on the global sub-region. It was the 4th wave that got to Africa. And if you check history, in that wave, Ghana then, the data talks about losing a lot of people. So are we going to allow this 4-time lucky and get hoodwinked? I am not too sure. We just have to protect ourselves, if you ask me.
Great. And talking about protecting ourselves, we're very close to Christmas. I'll come back to you, Yao and Kwame, but let me get to Dr. Patrick Aboagye. So, Dr. Aboagye, we're very close to Christmas. There are lots of activities lined up, lots of events lined up. What are your guidelines, or what's, the Ghana Health Services guidelines for these events and for those of us who would be going to these events? Hello, Dr. Aboagye.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes, we know there are lots of activities planned, but as was said by the president, we are encouraging only open door events as short as possible and ensuring that all the protocols, not just writing all COVID protocols to be observed, no, to really live it. And so we have a team that we're working with the tourism board that would ensure the settings are appropriate, the spacing is appropriate, and if there's a need to check vaccination, depending on whoever is organizing it, we are also available to assist, to ensure. But as much as possible, everybody must avoid an indoor event. The issue we are talking about is the Christmas, like Kwame said, that's when we go and pick it one by one. Then as soon as work opens, we start in January working. That is when we go around spreading. Those in the taxis, those going to work, those going to the market. That is when the exponential phase starts. So even in all that area, workplaces must put in systems. And we are recommending put systems to ensure that we reduce congestion, we ensure that there are tighter restrictions so that that exponential phase is minimized, if not eliminated.
Okay. Now, you say as much as possible you're encouraging outdoor events. The president has talked about outdoor events. But Dr. Aboagye, there are a lot of indoor events being advertised. Lots of them. What is going to happen? I mean, you've talked about you teaming up with the Ghana Tourism Authority. What are you going to do now? Yesterday there was an indoor event. There will be indoor events, on the 24th, 25th, 26th. What are you going to do about these indoor events?
Well, I think we have a society of learned people. We provide information, we provide the guidance. The media is also part to work on people, and as much as possible, where we feel the risk is, we work with tourism and probably ask them to relocate. And that's something we are talking about. So we will continue engaging and ensuring that we don't want to destroy people's business, but we also ensure that we all stay safe. So we'll continue engaging, observing. I think you saw the one on last Friday at the stadium by the GH Ghana. We were there, we set the whole place up. There were a few mishaps towards the end, but it was a learning curve. So we'll ensure that but the most important in all people, whether it's in your own private home or anything, please ensure that you do everything in the open.
Let me get a bit of clarification here in talking about changing locations. Is it the case that when you feel that the indoor space is not suitable for the event, you will not let the event take place there?
We will engage.
And what will be the end result of the engagement that we are looking at here?
Well, we'll recommend that you do it in an open space for the sake of all Ghanaians.
If it can't
and we are working with tourism board, who have the authority to engage such people and also give them. And we are working very closely together.
So if it can't be done in the open space around that time, would the event still come off?
I say we will continue to engage.
Yes, but I want to understand something. So as you engage...
Well, it should be in the interest of all of us that such an event doesn't take place. But I say that we are not going to say, by all means, don't do it. We have the process of engagement and providing alternatives for such events to take place.
Alternatives. And the alternatives will be change of venue.
An open space.
An open space.
Where it's safer. Where we feel all feel safer.
Okay. Yes, let me just ask this. You talked about risk. You look at the risk involved. What would constitute risk? What sort of risk are you looking out for? What would you see and say, this means the risk is high, so we can't have it here?
Well, obviously, an indoor event and looking at how transmissible Omicron is, and even Delta is also very transmissible. I mean, compared to the previous one, just that Omicron has overtaken Delta, but those are the two variants we are dealing with. So any indoor event is risky, especially when the numbers are many, and also depends on the type of event. If it's a concert, people are going to jump and scream, obviously it's going to be difficult. If it's an event that keeping mask on may be difficult, those ones can be classified as it will not be appropriate to maintain a safe environment here. Can we look at a different place where we can space up and have fun?
And Dr. Aboagye, you say that as much as possible the event should be short. Are you giving a time frame within which events indoors should be had?
We don't have any specific timeline, but I keep saying that we will engage on the duration, and then that will also influence the settings that we will look around. And so we want to take each case by case, and so we are working very closely. Yesterday we were having a meeting with the tourism authority, so we're working case by case to recommend. And we also want to recommend, for example, this crossover, which is something we all do in this country. Can we do it online or in open space? So that's another potential place to enter the year with a lot of Omicron. So those are all areas we continue to engage in the stakeholders to see how we can create a much safer environment for all of us within the kind of context that we have.
Is this something that you're throwing out to the churches to decide, or you're making a decision and telling them to stick to open spaces?
I think we have always engaged the churches, and they have been very cooperative. So we always dialogue with them to see the best interest of the nation. And they've always been very, very, very supportive.
Well, before I get to Yao, Dr. Aboagye, you say we will engage them. I mean, we will talk to them. 2 days to a lot of the events. I mean, a lot of them will be starting on the 24th of December. You've engaged the Ghana Tourism Authority, but have you engaged the event planners?
Well, don't assume that it's just announcing the engagement. The engagement is an ongoing process. It continues to go on as we look at the risk. So we are engaging. We've been engaging for a few days, more than a week before the GH event took place. So that's what we are doing. We continue to, and we hope they also come agree with us to see exactly seeing the point that this place is a bit too dangerous. Can we relocate? Yeah.
Let me get to your Bediakon. I'll get back to you shortly, Dr. Aboagye. But Dr. Bediakon, so the Ghana Health Services, the advice is that, as much as possible, let's resort to outdoor events. Would that, to a large extent, reduce the risk of contracting the Omicron variant?
Well, I think it reduces the risk a little bit, but it's hard to quantify how much it would reduce the risk. The fact of the matter is Omicron is the most transmissible variant of SARS-CoV-2 we have encountered so far. And we all know what Delta did. We all know what Beta did, Alpha did earlier, last year around this time. And we know what Delta did in the middle of the year. So I think we have, I hear the questions you're asking, Dr. Aboagye, but to be honest, the decision has to be made by everyday people. It's not the Ghana Health Service who is trying to be Scrooge or the Grinch and take away Christmas. It is Omicron that has arrived at the wrong time. Everything seemed to be going well, and then Omicron has emerged. And we have to accept that it cannot be Christmas as usual unless we want to deal with a January and a February like we did last year. We've all been here before. We know what happened last year. And Omicron has the potential to be much worse. One thing I didn't hear Dr. Aboagye mention is I also heard that vaccination certificates, vaccination cards are going to be checked at venues. If vaccination cards are checked and enforced, so if you are not vaccinated, you cannot come, that
lowers the risk to some extent. It is true that people who are vaccinated could still be infected. However, the rate at which they would transmit is less than somebody who is not vaccinated. And of course, the risk to themselves in terms of negative outcomes, even if they do get infected, is lower. So in my opinion, the rule about vaccination should be enforced to the letter. If you are not vaccinated, you sit in your house and you stay there till next year. That should be something that I have no problem being very flat about. And I believe I have seen it announced. I've seen reports and indications that the Ghana Health Service is mandating vaccination. So I even think crossover services, churches should check vaccination cards. It's something that we can check. Before you travel, before COVID, everybody had to have that yellow card, that yellow fever card that allowed us to travel. Checking vaccines is something that we've always done. So perhaps if we, left to me, I would say let's just be smart about it. Let's not have any big events, and let's just ride out this year and hope that we can have big events next year. But if events have been planned, money has been spent, we have to have events, then yes, let's hold them outside, but let's enforce vaccination cards. And if people are not vaccinated, then they cannot attend the events. But I really think, like we've been saying, like Kwame was saying, the threat of Omicron is that it spreads so fast that even if a few people have severe symptoms, a small percentage of a large number is still a very big number. And so we have no idea what is going to happen next year. So we have to be smart and sensible. We have to be sensible about this. And it's better. I mean, at the very beginning of this pandemic, what did the president say? We know how to revive an economy, but we don't know how to revive a dead person. The WHO Secretary General has said something very similar. Averting an event is better than life averted. We don't know what's going to happen. And it is better to be cautious and at the end be judged that, we were too cautious, than not to be cautious enough and then have a huge issue on our hands. So I think we have to work with the Ghana Health Service, we have to work with the government. I don't think they are not overly autocratic and trying to kill our Christmas. We are dealing with something we don't really know how to control. Okay. And I personally think that the vaccine mandate, the vaccine cards should be enforced to the letter. That is the bare minimum that we should be doing.
Great. Now, let me get to you, Kwame. You always would hear all COVID-19 safety protocols will be observed. What I want to understand is, under the circumstance, what would constitute the observance of COVID-19 protocols? How do we observe it? So, not just saying it will be observed, but at these events, how should they be observed, and what would constitute the observance of COVID-19 safety protocols?
Well, thank you. I mean, we've all known the protocols. I have been saying for a while that now I don't even know who I'm talking to, because as far as I'm concerned, the protocols have been drummed down our throats, our noses, by the government, by individuals, by the press, by the Ghana Health Service, by the WHO. And we know that a few things are important. One, avoiding crowds, which holding open events minimizes but doesn't eliminate. Two, constant washing of your hands with soap and water, but if you can't, the use of hand sanitizers. Three, making sure that you keep a safe distance. It's normally said 2 meters, but even in closed events or open events, it's unlikely you can do that from each other. 4, the wearing of face masks. 5, if you think you have been exposed or have any symptoms, don't access these events. Or if you have been at the event and you realize that someone who attended the event has tested positive, get a test immediately. Don't wait for symptoms and isolate until the result of that test is out, because sometimes you could just be incubated. This is the whole compendium of complying with the protocols. I would add on that if I was in decision-making position like Dr. Aboagye is, I would insist that there should be antigen testing for people who want to access these events. And I'll tell you what, if you look at Omicron, the incubation period we have all known since SARS-CoV-2 was between 2 and 3 days, 48 to 72 hours. Now we are seeing that this is so contagious and replicates so much. It replicates 70 times more in the truth than Delta. And therefore, you're having people who are testing positive and 12 negative, and 12 hours later testing positive. And therefore, if you look, even the U.S. has now changed its PCR regulation to 24 hours pre-departure. So it is not good enough to just say, I am vaccinated, I don't have symptoms, and I'm going in. You could be the spreader. And I'd want to end by saying that at this point in time, it's no longer Ghana Health Service. It's no longer Nana Akufo-Addo. It's no longer Patrick Aboagye. Neither is it Yao Bitiako or myself. You need to realize the mandate you bear yourself. You hold in trust your life, the life of your friends, the life of your acquaintances. If you've got parents, their life. Because Christmas is a time that you visit your closest relationships. And let me pose the moral question. How would you feel if you just found out that through your intransigence and negligence, one of these close people are dead? Are you going to blame Patrick Aboagye, Asiedu Bekwe, Nana Akufo-Addo, or Kwame Safran-Asiedu, or what do you call it, Winston Amoah? No. You are going to live with that on your conscience for the rest of your life. And let's remember, from last year, a lot of people are living with that scourge on their conscience. Like the WHO Secretary General said yesterday, you can postpone an event, but you cannot postpone mortality. Once it's lost, it's lost. Thank you.
I'll get back to all of you shortly, particularly also because we've talked about, Kwame and Yawedi both talked about vaccinations. And I'll be finding out from Dr. Aboagye, the state of our vaccination. And also in other jurisdictions, boosters, 3rd, 4th shots. How about Ghana? For those who have 2 shots already and is beginning to wane, now that we're faced with the prospect of this, any plan to maybe give a 3rd shot? But I'll be after these few messages from our partners. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Afishapo. The Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service and partners bring you greetings of the season. We want to remind you that this December is COVID-19 vaccination month because COVID-19 disease is real and still with us. COVID-19 spreads quickly during such festivities when there are lots of gatherings and human interactions. But you can protect yourself further by getting vaccinated. AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson and Moderna vaccines are being given to all persons aged 18 years and above. Only Pfizer is given at 15 years and above. Pregnant women are excluded. These vaccines authorized by FDA are safe, effective and free and protect against COVID-19 disease, hospitalization and death. Millions of Ghanaians have been vaccinated with no safety concerns, so why wait any longer? Take along any national ID card and get vaccinated at the nearest facility in your neighborhood. For your second dose, take along your COVID-19 vaccination card as required. If you feel unwell after the vaccination, report to the nearest health facility. Continue to wear your face mask, frequently wash your hands with soap and running water, use alcohol-based hand sanitizer and keep physical distance. Have a wonderful festive season. Protect yourself, protect your family. Get vaccinated against COVID-19 now. This message is from Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service and partners.
Hello, my name is Anita Aboagye, the Corporate Accounts Manager of Total Petroleum Ghana PLC. On the occasion of this Yuletide celebration, I want all drivers to adhere to this crucial road safety tip. Do not drink and drive. This is because just 0.05% of blood alcohol concentrations increase significantly the probability of road accidents. Alcohol and drugs affect the driver by slowing down his or her coordination and appreciation of events in real time, which then reduces the reaction time. This is believed to be a factor in nearly 1/3 of fatal road accidents. Avoid driving when under medications or drugs that have drowsy effects. Remember, your family needs you alive, Ghana needs you alive, and Total Petroleum Ghana PLC needs you alive. On behalf of the entire management and staff of Total Petroleum Ghana PLC, we wish you safe holidays and a prosperous new year. Afishiapa.
This December, December. Reward yourself with friends with a gift of laughter, joy, and happiness.
It was the corona that came to Nigeria that went back. That's what they're calling second wave in Europe now.
It's comedy, music, and good vibes at the night of 1,028 laughs and music. OK Bakassi, Jacinta, Gordons, Foster Manners, Aproko, Comedian Waris, Distalker, Kwabna, Abiana, Episode, and Adina. Join us on Boxing Day, 26th December at the Grand Arena, Accra International Conference Center, 8 p.m. sharp. Tickets are out for 250 Ghana Cedis Standard and 400 Ghana Cedis Premium at Nalam Stores, Accra Mall, X-Men, Charterhouse, and on short code *713*210#. For VIP tables, call 0501-288-520.
The devil met Eve in the Garden of Eden, naked, and all he discussed with her was Apple.
The night of 1,028 laughs and music, proudly brought to you by Close Up, Star Radler, YFM, and powered by Charterhouse.
Go with MasterCard and open up a world of priceless possibilities. From online streaming subscriptions from around the world, to dining out at your usual restaurant, or finding new favorites, to the thrill of an in-store shopping spree. From treating yourself to a movie, to spoiling the family with an unforgettable holiday destination. Whatever you do and wherever you go, from the moment you choose your card in the bank, go with MasterCard, the secure and convenient way to pay. MasterCard, start something priceless.
This is a beautiful game. 90 minutes full of emotions and excitement. That makes us love the game even more. And even more when you stand a chance of winning 125,000 cedis for only 2 Ghana cedis. Predict only 12 games correct and win Ghana's easiest jackpot today. Register on 10bet.com.gh and stand a chance to win big with 10bet. 10bet for the better. This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years. Gaming can be addictive. Reload.
Maudada no pediani bianye di pa and pe wo malt milk ena koko mu a ema milomu da shima.
From Nestle.
Every ahwehwe side dwade nkrato yi mu agya dum se eye.
Coronavirus, COVID-19. Coffee in your cup, joy on the set. Super Morning Show is always the best. Morning Joy, 99.7 Oh, papa, baby, you are say, baby, it's a wekum nipa. You love wekum, human Africans in the grass and baba. She, Soja Suro Corona, Lawyer Osuro Corona, Malam Suro Corona.
This is Joy 99.7 FM. We're having a very important conversation covered on all the activities lined up for this festive season. Our guest, Dr. Patrick Aboagye, is the Director General of the Ghana Health Service. We also have Dr. Ihao Bediako, who is with the West African Center for Cell Biology, Pathogen, University of Ghana, and Dr. Kwame Siedu Sapong is a CDD fellow and a pharmacist. We'll continue with our conversation. Keep your messages coming through. On Twitter, use the hashtag JoySMS. But score big with the card assistant. Win the ultimate VIP Premier League experience for you and 10 friends. It's a 5-star match day viewing experience, virtual access to a Premier League legend, plus the winner also takes home official signed merchandise and a state-of-the-art home entertainment system. Pay with your contactless ABSA debit or credit card to enter. Terms and conditions apply. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA, the official African banking partner of the Premier League and CIMG Bank of the Year 2020.
And this Christmas weekend, all of us are spending a time at our Around the World Food and Drinks Festival. It's happening on the 24th, 5th, and 6th of December at the Polo Court near the Kotoka International 25th and 6th of December. Book the family brunch with Kofi Kinata and Men's Cook on the 25th of December at 12 noon for 200 Ghana cedis, and or the Hawaiian brunch with Nyonyo and Friends on the 26th of December for 250 Ghana cedis at 12 noon. The seats are limited, so WhatsApp 05 limited.
And the biggest arts and crafts center with appealing and contemporary products is about to open today. We've been counting down to today, Wednesday, December 22nd. It is here. It is the newly refurbished Ibri Craft Village, the biggest one-stop shop for authentic Ghanaian handicraft of premium quality. Source your living room, bedroom, kitchen, dining, and garden decor and accessories in one place. So from today, Wednesday, December 22nd, through to Sunday, December 26th, there will be an exhibition at the Brick Craft Village, brought to you by the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. Don't be left out. Come feast your eyes on the widest variety of handicraft you can lay your hands on. Kindly call 024 211 1103 for any further enquiries. Export Ghana, export more.
And as we celebrate this festive season and New Year, let's keep safe when using LPG. When you smell gas, open doors and windows to get rid of the gas. Check and see if the gas has been left on. If not, there's probably a gas leakage, so turn off the regulator and call technicians to service your stove. If it is safe to do so, try to locate the source of leak by applying a solution of soapy water to the base of your cylinder valve or along the flexible hose. If bubbles appear and become bigger or increase in number, then you have a leak. Knowing where the leak is helps to prevent accidents, and this is a message from the National Petroleum Authority.
Okay. Dr. Patrick Aboagye, we want to start this round with you before we wrap up the conversation. I hope that you're still with us, sir.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. I thought that you'd like to react to the suggestions from Yao and then also Kwame on the PCR regulations. I wonder if anything has changed with our situation.
Well, I didn't hear that question. I don't know when that was discussed in terms of PCR. You mean at the airport?
Well, before people go into events, but let's just backtrack. Let me go to the mandatory vaccine pass first of all. Yeah, I was making the suggestion that if it could be the minimum thing that you check, so that if you don't have the passport, you don't go to any events at all. Is that something that we're enforcing? I know that you've been encouraging people to go to events with a vaccine card, but is it mandatory?
Well, not now. Currently, we are encouraging it. We are encouraging it, and we are expecting companies, event organizers to institute such a measure. That will require the minister through an AI, as has been alerted, that somewhere in January, certain category of people and certain venues, it will be a requirement that you be vaccinated before you can participate in an event in certain areas, and of course, certain categories of people who will have to be vaccinated to continue doing their work. One would say that is coming a bit late, but that is also because we have a number of years, about 5 months of dry, no vaccine availability, and so we are using this month to ramp up vaccination so that will be a more fairer announcement or a protocol to observe. When we say mandatory, it connotes a certain, as if everybody is being forced to be vaccinated.
Yes, but Dr. Aboagye, the Ghana Tourism Authority has indicated that in order to go to any of these events, you should show proof that you've been fully vaccinated. So
that's another one. That is the organizer who set up. Joy FM executive management can say if you are not vaccinated, you can't come to work.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the level we are now. So tourism authority has given that, and there are many banks, organizations who have said the same thing on their workers. It protects their workplace, so that's fine. But subsequently, then the state will come out with other ones which will have to be. Except it's a conditional thing. Even if you want to stay at work and you need to be vaccinated, you choose between that or work. If you want to go and watch football match and we say you cannot go to the stadium without, it doesn't mean that by all means go and get vaccinated. What it means is that if you want to watch football, go and get vaccinated.
Okay. And just finally on the PCR regulation, let's take to the airport. Has anything changed?
No, we still have the two-step approach of PCR negative before employing and then testing on arrival. Because we test on arrival, there's really no point in tinkering with 72 hours to 48 hours or 24 hours.
Okay. But are you considering giving boosters for those who've been vaccinated? I mean, I took my last vaccine in May. It's been 7 months. And
the science of giving booster is very clear.
Mm-hmm.
But we also live in a country where I would say currently we are looking at about 10 million people have been vaccinated, at least gotten a first shot. And you have about 20, okay, if you take out the other 5, let's say about 15 more million who are yet to be vaccinated. So it may not be a fair thing to legislate a third dose for the 10 million people who are already been vaccinated. But what we are looking at certain criteria which should come out within this week, a certain risk group, especially looking at how we did our segmentation. That will be the group that will be specifically targeted to be given boosters, as was started in other parts of the country. So that should come out before the end of the week, and then we'll be able to let people know criteria of people who are at higher risk who will be protected with a booster dose. Whilst as vaccines come in more and reach more, of course, we can explain to more people to put their protection.
Talking about number of persons vaccinated, you talk about 10 million. I'm just looking at the Ghana Health Services website, and it says...
I understand. I know where you're getting to.
Yeah, as of the 20th of December.
That one is electronically entered data.
Okay.
I have access to the people who have been vaccinated whilst data entry continues. Okay. And that's a much more superior data. That's what I'm saying. I know what is there.
Okay.
But we have people where there's no internet, where they take offline and synchronize data. But when you look at the data, we are around about 10 million already.
Okay.
And Dr. Aboagye, I want us to look at our active cases. Still on your website, the Ghana Health Service website, there's 1,602 active COVID-19 cases. Do we know what's attributing to the increase?
Well, since the last 3 weeks, apart from the increasing numbers at the airport, 2 days ago we recorded 104 cases at the airport. That is one. Greater Accra has seen an increasing number from about 4 a day to now about 400 plus a day. Yes, Accra Metro and its environs. Kumasi is seeing some increase in 39, etc. So that is where we have it. In fact, the current active cases uploaded is approaching 3,000. And so we are not in very normal times. And that's why we are also pleading with people that let's be cautious. We cannot check people in their rooms who is having party in their room. And that's why we are using this medium to encourage people that please do outdoor events to reduce the risk of spread. And so the numbers are going up, especially in Accra and to some extent in Kumasi. So our active cases are approaching 30,000 now.
So with the cases approaching 3,000, are we looking at some sort of restrictions, maybe in Accra?
I think most people in Accra knows what to do. And so we will continue to encourage and give them the education that let's wear our mask, let's avoid crowds, etc. We've done it before. Yes, we don't want people to start seeing people dying before we start I'm using this life-saving mechanism. So
Okay.
we're just encouraging more people to wear that, take their own destiny in their hands. And like Kwame said, I know people who feel so guilty because he knows that he killed his grandparents. You know, he brought the virus home and killed both of them. And they don't think anybody wants to have that thing on their conscience. So let's all take this thing serious.
Well, we thank you for your time, Dr. Patrick Aboagye.
Thank you.
Young Kwame, we'll come to you for your last words. I'll probably start with you, Dr. Yao-Bediako.
Thank you. I think Dr. Aboagye has said it best. The government can only do so much. The Ghana Health Service can only do so much. At the end of the day, people have to take responsibility for this themselves. The rise in cases is directly linked to Omicron. I think it is very clear that Omicron is going to drive another wave. We are in it. Cases are going to rise. I think that 3,000 will probably be surpassed very soon. If you look at reports, many testing centers are now reporting that 20, 30, 40% of the tests they are running are turning out to be positive. So we have to be sensible. Mask wearing has to come back. Going to parties is probably not the wisest thing to do. And if you're going to go to an event, make sure it's an outdoor event and don't stay longer than you need to be there. So I think we just have to realize that we are in a fight again. Christmas has come and Omicron has arrived. And it has the risk to be worse than last Christmas. So we should just be sensible and try as much as possible to abide by the guidelines.
Thank you, Dr. Yao-Bediako. Dr. Kwame Sapong, final words for you.
Right, thank you. If you had Dr. Aboagye, 3,000. As at the 14th, we had 973 active cases. That supports what Dr. Bediako has just said, because we know the doubling rate for Omicron is 2 days. And so I am very concerned if we are 3,000 and we've not even hit 24th night. Because if I just do a cursory calculation, if that trajectory continues, we are looking at 6,000 by the 31st of December. And that 6,000 could be you, it could be me, it could be anybody. And if we look at it, that always the active cases are the tip of the iceberg because of our low testing potential, then it would mean that there would be a large number in the general population who either are sick and are calling it malaria or flu or harmattan and are not testing, and who would be driving transmission at a reproductive number that is similar to measles. That really scares me. And if anyone doesn't think that is scary, they should just look at the numbers coming out of the UK. We are hitting 95,000 new cases a day. The saving grace is that few people are dying because of the high vaccination. We don't have that luxury in Ghana. So let's keep our guards up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kwame Sapong. He's a CDD fellow and a pharmacist. Dr. Patrick Aboagye, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, also joined in this conversation, as well as Dr. Yao-Bediako, who is an immunologist with the West African Center for Cell Biology, Pathogen, University of Ghana. I think they've said it all, really. Just stick to the guidelines. We know what to do. And the numbers, as has been given this morning, we have recorded about 3,000 active COVID-19 cases. So the rule is make sure the event that you're going as much as possible is an outdoor event. Don't stay too long. And remember to stick to all the protocols. The mask must always be on. Wash your hands. If you cannot readily wash your hands, use hand sanitizer. And if you have a flu, if you have a cold and you're thinking, oh, it's because of the harmattan, please cross-check. Make sure you do the test. As we've heard there from Dr. Yao-Bediako, about 30-40% of all the cases being tested at the testing centers are showing up positive. It's good to at least eliminate that. And then you can relax a bit and treat the cold that you have.
Exactly. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Stay with us. When we return, There's more. This morning also, our friends Joyful Way Incorporated, they'll be joining us right here on the Super Morning Show.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come, and the Roverman Festival of Plays is back with not 5 but 6 spectacular Aboagye plays. 25th December, Dear God, 27th December, The Comeback, 28th December, Caught in the Act, 1st January, Devil's Wife, 2nd January, Blackmail, 3rd January, The Secret Code of Wives. Venue, National Theatre. Time, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. Rates, 100 Ghana cedis for individual shows, 500 Ghana cedis for all 6 shows. Tickets available at *713 *5 #5. Joy FM, Shell Shops at Airport, Dansuman, East Legon, and Tema Community 11. Total Shops at Bachuna and Hacho. Frankie's, Osu, Say Cheers at Accra Mall, and all other usual outlets. Enquiries, WhatsApp 050 554 6030. Sponsored by Gino, Toyota Ghana Limited, Dolphin Finance, Investcorp, and Total Family Health Organization. Partners, National Theatre and Joy FM. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
Do not improvise an auto gas cylinder. Make sure the auto gas cylinder is properly installed by a qualified technician. Always keep a fire extinguisher handy. In case of a fire, stand at a safe distance and attack the base of the flames. Avoid decanting LPG from one cylinder to the other. Domestic transfer of LPG should be avoided. Cars fitted with auto gas cylinders should be filled at appropriate filling stations. A message from the National Petroleum Authority.
With G Money on every mobile network. Hello everyone, it's your rock star Kwame Eugene. When I'm performing on stage, I prefer to work with a band that knows and understands my music. Together, we create a synergy that blows the roof. Likewise, in my day-to-day transactions, I rely on G Money because it aids me with smooth and secure transactions to all networks and banks. The G Money mobile wallet is powered by GCB Bank. It is the safest and most secure wallet. With G Money, I'm always the G that gets things done. I am able to quickly receive and send money to my loved ones when needed.
Be a G like Kwame Eugene. Walk to any G Money agent or GCB Bank branch near you and sign on today with a Ghana card. Dial *422# and make transfers to friends and family on all networks without hassle and experience a variety of packages on G Money. To be a G Money agent, walk into any GCB Bank branch and get registered. It pays to be a G, so be a G. Tratum with G Money.
Once, what's a wedding is it? Oh, you butankasa.
Messi, Lufat na wajima were you?
Hey, malaria drew Lufat. Jama wedding were your hospital.
Sister, where I imagine there, few hours to my wedding. No missi semu huma yeshepe. Minketa was mikunia. My husband is sick.
Hey, Jama tornado. Nabas no yen.
What's the water tested positive for malaria?
No, no, one for ambulance na one.
Ambulance. It's not a bicycle.
Hey, no, yasin from Kakabo.
No, kick. Many wedding gonna me make up nina. Sometimes nearest pharmacy. Oh, one meji Lufat.
Entrance pharmaceuticals for one malaria bruna.
Inyo. No ye na one chair. Mukuno china nenadi. A brand pa.
No kuniso. No pona waka that you may kiss the bride. If you want to show day.
No, donna. Man, you don't know.
Indeed, malaria and kawan to them. Lufat. A malaria drop a cup. Sa igedin kratui. Eddie, Shimaja to say a ye.
Hey, Bra Kofi, your ceiling be smooth, bright and fine, Papa.
That's an understatement. It dey blink like 80 carats white gold. This be interface plasterboard ceilings. Smooth, bright, and long-lasting. Everybody where they come here, they fill up. Where they direct them go Interface Limited for world-class quality.
If you're involved in new property development, renovation, or decoration, the right place for you is Interface Limited. Call us on 0274 999999 or visit our website at
www.interfacelimited.net. Facebook, Interface Limited GH. Instagram, interface.limited.
No victim of gender-based violence should be silent. Every human deserves dignity and respect.